When checking your Atmos mix, you want to go to your Atmos icon, right? You're going to click Monitoring Format 5.1. This is the only true way that Apple and Dolby say to check the volume and make sure it's good. So for instance, let's check this really quick, make sure this is good. See, this is and keep this in mind, this is a VCA strip component, or excuse me, just a VCA strip, whatever. Basically what I've done here is I've put a VCA strip on all the vocals, and then one for each of these components, which these are objects, and then right now I have my vocals in the these are what are called surround beds, sorry. But yes, all of these are grouped together, and then the rest of them have their own strip, because unless it was like something that was like notably similar, like a bunch of synths that are like low volume synths or high volume synths, I would group together, you know, all the lead synths I would group together, all the regular synths I group together. And the finished product should look something like this.
When it only comes with strings, I ain't trying to change your mind, you keep that version too. I had to learn the hard way, some intentions don't stay true. Used to answer every call, now I barely hit reply. Crazy how the ones you hold the closest be the first to switch sides.
So the goal here is obviously to get something along this range. You don't want to go past the true peak of -1. You don't want that at all. That's a no-no. So how you do that is with a limiter. Okay. That's before the Atmos plugin, by the way. I didn't realize this. When I was making a few of the other videos I made, I thought I knew everything. I did not know everything, however, and now I do. I believe I know everything about how to create an Atmos mix that is acceptable, at the very least. Okay, so how I do it is using these strips, and whenever I make the strip, I will go over, I'll click the strip, so that way it's the only thing highlighted, because mind you, if you do it and you don't click the strip, then when you're turning down this, it's turning down the volume on the actual thing that it's connected to. You don't want that. You want to turn it down on the strip, so that way it'll just naturally bring down the volume, and then you have a more cohesive mix that correlates with the actual song itself. And you want this number to be around 18. If it's a little bit above, I don't think it's going to matter. Like if it's like 17.6 or something, like that might be, I'm not going to say that that's going to work for you. I'm just going to say like the goal is to keep the mix around -18. And so ultimately, you know, do with that what you will. If it's less than -18, I believe they won't accept anything under like -32 or something like that. I'm not so sure about that part, but I believe that the range is like -32 to like -18. But anyways, I just thought I'd share that knowledge really quickly, because I know that it's actually very important, and I know that some of y'all out there do care about making Dolby Atmos music. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and subscribe for more content. I have a whole course on this subject, and I have other tips and tricks, but I will say, just keep this in mind. I think this is going to be like the first course I should put on for the entirety of the courses, because this is the most crucial thing to know, I would say, and I don't think I note it very often, or if I do note it, I'm noting it in a way that's like trying to get around this. It's like trying to turn down the volume like in a way that I thought I knew how to do it a better way or something, but I actually didn't. I said in another video that if you used a dynamics processor on this strip here, which is actually very useful for if you're making a regular mix, like the stereo mix back from the Dolby version, because you can actually make a really good sounding mix out of the Dolby version. And the way you would do that is you would go to 2.0 Direct, you click 2.0 Direct. The goal is around -14, obviously, and the way I would do that is I might even take away all these strips over here and just put underneath the Atmos mix, because it would still go into the mix if it was a regular bounce. I would put underneath the Atmos mix a dynamics processor and just, dial it down until it meets the requirements. Or it might not even actually need to be dialed down. I think it's set to the right amount of volume to begin with. So anyways, I hope that helped out, you guys. One last thing is, I think it's important to note, like for me at least, I saw a significant difference whenever I started doing like parallel compression and things like that. But if you're going to do things like that, you have to be aware that you're going to have to turn that volume down on that as well, or create a strip for that, which I don't do. I just turn down the volume on it for that surround bed. Anyways, you can look into that. So parallel compression, parallel harmonics, those are really big deals. Buses, look into buses, all these buses. Like if you're looking to make any type of music, you need to look into buses and what they do for a mix, because like I didn't realize how big of a deal it was, but it's actually an extremely big deal. And anyways, I hope this video helps somebody out there out for real, because I know I needed the help whenever I was making my mix, you know what I mean? Anyways, and I probably should have watched a video on how to do it, but I just didn't, you know what I mean? Because I'm kind of crazy, I guess. And I keep this open while I'm saving the spatial audio mix, because it's important to me to see that it's still -18, or like around -18, because that's the only way that Apple will accept the mix, or Tidal, or Amazon Music, hopefully one day Spotify as well, but until then, for now, it's just those 3 players, I believe, that accept music in this way. But anyways, subscribe for more content, you guys. If you want some more Dolby Atmos content, please let me know. I know a lot more than just this. I can tell you how to pan things around. I show that in a lot of my other videos, and how to get started with this. I would definitely finish the song before you start mixing in Atmos, because I think that's really important for getting the mix, like the bounce of the regular song first, because you're going to need both. The regular bounce and the ADM file, you're going to need those two for when you're distributing it. But I use Avid Play. It's a really seamless way to do it. I could demonstrate something on how to do that as well if you need me to, but I think it's the most useful way of distributing music as an independent artist, and it's cheap, and it's like $50 a year or something like that. And all the other competitors are so ridiculous. Like, they're outrageously priced too, just to get anything done. It's like $50, I think, per like single and album cover if you want to get motion artwork done on like Symphonic. And to be honest with you, how would you even know how to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you would have to go to a third party and pay them to make it for you usually. I know how to do it myself now because I had to look into all this stuff. You have to have Final Cut Pro to make the correct formatting, or if you don't have Final Cut Pro, I guess you could use DaVinci Resolve. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. And then it's like $25 a track or something on Symphonic for Dolby Atmos music, and it's not just like sitting in front of you for you to just purchase it. You have to like send them an email about it. I don't know. I just have some things that I question when it comes to this stuff. But anyways, that's not the actual number. But anyways, I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Bye, guys.